Alrighty, it's Monday, so you know what that means. It's time for a Q&A episode here on OTRS Central. Thanks to you guys. I went to at OTRS Central on Twitter and tweeted your questions for this Q&A. Try in the future, if you can, to use the hashtag OTRS Central hashtag, if you will. Some of you did, some of you don't. It just makes it easier for me to see, hey, I see the hashtag, I know that's a question, That's why I asked. Thanks very much for your compliance in the future and those that have complied currently. Let's kick this bad boy off. Unlike the Bears, who never kicked it off Sunday night against the Packers. King Terry Jones, what exactly is a 5-star match? Does that mean it's memorable many years later or that it's just a great match? Frankly, I don't fucking know. Personally, I've always kind of thought the star rating system was kind of stupid because so much of that is based upon personal interpretation and, so many different types of fans have different viewpoints on what an all-time classic match is. I know this much is that 4.5, 5-star ratings are given out far, far, far too often. Those type of star ratings should be given out to the truly classic and timeless matches. And if you pay attention to certain fans of, let's say, like CM Punk or Daniel Bryan, the majority of the matches those guys have are at least minimum 4 to 4.5 stars. And, ROH has a 4.5 or 5-star match, if not 2, on every fucking pay-per-view. How stupid and fucking ridiculous is that? It's stupid. It's ridiculous. I don't know what the fuck makes a 5-star match. Some people will say flips and kicks. Some people talk about the memorable moments. It's all a matter of that individual perspective, I suppose. Your viewpoint on the business and what's important. It kind of comes down to the fundamental belief of difference in, let's say WrestleMania 3 is a perfect example. There's a certain group that believes that Steamboat Savage was the match of the night. Then there's a certain group that believes that Hogan and Andre was the match of the night because that was the match that people remember the most. That's the match that drew over 90,000 people. I'm a part of that Hogan-Andre group. Sure, Steamboat and Savage was fine in its own right, but it's not nearly the best match that either one of them ever had. And I most certainly don't think it was Savage's best ever WrestleMania match. Hogan and Andre drew the crowd. So, again, I think star ratings are kind of stupid. Let's see here. GGR. They couldn't help themselves, could they? Ryback gets huge pops. They turn him heel again, did they? Did I miss something? Or was I just zoned out not paying attention? I'm not really sure. Then King Terry Jones also asks, is Iowa worth visiting? Well, if it's on your bucket list to visit all 50 states, I guess. But I lived there for 6 years. You're not missing a whole lot. I'm going to be honest with you. Probably skip that one. Sun Goshwaku, whatever. Have you seen the worldwide popular anime Dragon Ball Z? If so, what are your thoughts on the series? I never did. I used to work with people at MCI way back in the day that lived for that shit, were totally into that shit. Never got into it. Don't know if it's good or not. Never got into it. Junior 1485 6792. Did Vince McMahon really kill the territories? To sit there and blame Vince McMahon solely, I think, is chicken shit. Did some of the things Vince McMahon do help kill the territories? Yes. Did he solely and exclusively kill the territories? No. I think that's cowardly chicken shit loser talk from those territories that always try to blame Vince this, Vince that, Vince this, Vince that. How about pointing a finger in the mirror and looking directly at yourself and see the things that you did? There are a lot of things that led to the death of the territories. The explosion and growth of cable television in the 80s made it a lot harder to keep up the territorial model. A lot of these territories didn't get with the television times, and a lot of them got steamrolled by the fiscal reality that was the money machine behind Titan Towers and Vince McMahon. There are a lot of things. So Vince alone did not kill the territories. Triple H kisses my ass. With that ass, wide hips, small waist, and natural larger than average breast size, do you agree that Molly Holly is sexy? Yes. I always thought Molly Holly was sexy. There was a certain type of purity to her. There was a certain type of, reserved kind of cool sexiness to her. I always thought she was sexy, still do. Matt Meffe 2, worst Q&A question you've ever been asked. Couldn't tell you. Good question. Your question is not the worst. Because I don't know. I really don't. Aponte J. Smooth, do you believe there is no such thing as the IWC since most fans have access to the internet? I don't know. I mean, maybe. Although, but if you do go on it, I don't really care. I'm just being honest. Let's see here. Twins of Sanity. Lie, cheat, steal. Who do you think has lied, cheated, and stolen the most out of these three? Mr. McMahon, Triple H, and Ted Turner. Turner probably lied the most. Vince McMahon probably cheated the system the most, and Triple H probably stole the most money. Edsel 4, will we ever see the OTRSCentral crew versus the Breakfast Club at a WrestleMania? Oh, what a slaughter that would be. Oh, good Christ. Probably not. D_Rizzle, who is a more important mouthpiece, Paul Bearer for Kane or Paul Heyman for Brock Lesnar? Probably Heyman for Lesnar. I think Heyman for Lesnar. WWE 961, can you do a Scott Steiner Q&A? Or are you a fat ass who doesn't believe size matters? It does, bitch. I don't know where the demand would necessarily be to do a Scott Steiner Q&A, but I would never rule that out. If you think that the Schleg Daddy doesn't believe size matters in professional wrestling, then I don't know what the fuck planet you've been living on the past almost 4 years now. Damn. Next month will be 4 years of doing this shit. Wow. Time goes by fast. In a suplex match, who wins, Lesnar and his Germans or Steiner and his belly-to-bellies? Steiner and his belly-to-bellies. You never know what the fuck's going to happen. Excuse me. Real Ziggy 23. If WWE pushes him right, do you think Bray Wyatt could be the next, dare I say, Undertaker? No. I don't. I don't know if any new created WWE character is ever going to truly be a big star again until proven otherwise. I just don't. Principal NYNB, which feud was more vomit-inducing? Warrior versus Shango or Cena versus Orton? He's gonna, and his hashtag was, he's gonna puke, he's gonna puke. Cena Orton. It's not even close. Oh, not even close. Michael_Corvin, favorite non-WrestleMania Undertaker match or moment? There's a lot of them over the years. If I had to say one, I kind of always go back to King of the Ring 98 for both the match and the moment. Michael_Corvin also wants to know, will you be discussing the Montreal Screwjob in detail during your review of Survivor Series 1997 like last time? It's probably a pretty good guess. Let's be perfectly realistic here. When you're talking about Survivor Series 1997, there is no time to waste talking about any other pointless, irrelevant bullshit. There is only one thing and one match and one story to talk about. So I will solely and exclusively talk about that. In fact, I think anybody that ever reviews Survivor Series 1997 and talks about all the other matches and this and that misses the fucking point and is wasting their time and everybody else's time that has bothered to watch the review. And then he also asked, if the Bulls didn't have Scottie Pippen, could they have still won 6 NBA championships? Why or why not? What were they going to do, win 6 titles with Alden Polynice? No, I don't think they would have. You know, people forget just how good Pippen was. People forget just how much of a beast Pippen was. People forget that Scottie Pippen was the preeminent perimeter defensive player of his time and perhaps of all times. I mean, I've seen Scottie Pippen completely embarrass folks defensively. I've seen Scottie Pippen completely take folks out of their game. I've seen Scottie Pippen make superstars look like nothing. I remember what he did in '91 in the finals when he would go up against Magic. Magic, even some of the shit he would do with Jordan defending him. He wasn't bowling that shit with Pippen. I remember when Pippen would sit there and go on a Clyde Drexler and how often he could Clyde into foul trouble by drawing offensive fouls. I can remember when in the Eastern Conference Finals in '98, they put Pippen on Mark Jackson in game 1 and 2, and Jackson couldn't do shit. I think he had 1 assist the first 2 games. I remember when they put Pippen on Kevin Johnson at times in the '93 Finals, and so on and so forth. No, they weren't going to win 6 titles without Scottie Pippen. That's point blank, period. Mr. Mike Laws, you usually crap on new promotions. If you were to start your own wrestling promotion, how would you go about it? I didn't really know I crapped on new wrestling promotions. I mean, if I don't care about them, I don't care about them. I don't know if I go out of my way to crap on them. So I don't know where you're getting that from. And as far as starting my own wrestling promotion, how would you go about it? I probably wouldn't. Why would I want to get into a business and art form that dies ever more by the day? The best decision I would make about starting a wrestling promotion would probably be not to start one. Just saying. W. Rain Foster, what is the reason to blame for the 2014 New York Jets season so far? Is it really Rex Ryan's fault, or is it something other than him? Well, it's just like anything else. You can't necessarily blame one individual, but does a lot of it go to Rex Ryan? Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're 2-8. They're terrible. This is a team that, because of the philosophy of their defensive-minded head coach, has drafted so heavily on the defensive side of the ball over the years, and their defense is still mediocre. Excuse me. Their defense is still average, and their offense continues to blow chunks. I mean, it's not the only reason. You got to look at the general manager, the ownership, the players themselves. But Rex Ryan's a big piece and big cog in that suck wheel that is the New York Jets. And to all those Jets fans that got butthurt when I said your team would be lucky to win 3 or 4 games before the season, what do you got to say now? That's right. Shut the fuck up! That's what you got to say. Cyanide Brain, if Vince McMahon was the new director of the Batman movies, would Kane play Bane with the 3-foot-long piece? Damn it. What do we got? Excuse me. Jamie NSNZ. Are the boos and cheers for Cena slowly decreasing? Are people starting to not care about him? I get where you could think that. I could really see where you would think that. I don't know if there's quite the passion on one side or the other in the feelings towards Cena as there once was. I think they're starting to get some apathy towards him, just a general malaise about how to feel about him. The Den Sidron, has the gimmick pay-per-view in WWE run its course? I don't think it's just the gimmick pay-per-view per se. I mean, if you're not going to do anything to make the gimmick get over and make the gimmick work, then yeah, it's done. But the Royal Rumble's a gimmick pay-per-view, and I think that works pretty well. Even though I don't agree with it being its own standalone pay-per-view, Money in the Bank's been a gimmick pay-per-view, and that's worked relatively well. A lot of people, not necessarily me, but a lot of people seem to like Elimination Chamber, and that was a gimmick pay-per-view, even though it's now gone. I mean, King of the Ring was a pay-per-view that a lot of people loved back in the day and wish would come back, and that's a gimmick pay-per-view. So again, it's not just the name itself. It's what you do with it, etc., blah, blah, blah. Let's see here. Abdullah Hep C closes out this Q&A by asking, is there going to be a future series about childhood wrestlers that passed and their contributions to wrestling? Probably not, and I'll tell you why, is because it would depress me. One, I don't know if there's that much of a demand to do it. Two, I don't know if there's much of a desire for me to do it. And three, even if there was a desire for me to do it, I would think about how much it would depress me talking about all these guys that were dead. Make me feel kind of old, and it make me long for the days of yore that are gone and never to return. It's just kind of the way it is. In life, sometimes it's better to look ahead, not look back, and sometimes I need to do a better job of looking forward, not looking backward. So, yeah, I wouldn't do something like that. So thanks again for you guys submitting your questions. Wednesday! Let's give the Wild Wednesday Q&A another shot. Tweet your wacky, wild, insane questions to @OTRSCentral on Twitter. Make them good, make them fun, damn it. No standard wrestling questions on Wednesday. See you later.